John, can I get you up here to start us off on this one? Thank you, dear.
Well, Stacey, I thought you were very adequately prepared for this. There were only a couple of small stumbles as you went through doing the speech, so I know that you had practiced this a number of times, and I greatly appreciate that. One of the things that you talked to me about, and I think that this helps with audience contact, has to do with gestures. And that's one of the things that it did direct in here was for you to use some gestures and movement. And again, I think we're doing somebody else's speech, that it is hard for us to generate movement up here. But I did see a couple of places where I thought that maybe you could have used some additional gestures. One part of your speech, you said, "I remember," and you could have done something like this. And then you also say, "I remember how I felt." And again, there were a couple of times later on in the speech when you said, "Check in with yourself," you did this, and also something about speaking here today. But I thought when you talked about how I felt, that this could have been another place you could have used a gesture that would have added impact to your speech. One of the areas that I thought could have really used a gesture was when you got to the part of the speech that says, "I worked my butt off." And that would have been an area where you could have made a hand movement or pointed to something in there that would have accented that. Again, you had the quote in there by Sir Edmund Hillary where you talked about it isn't conquering the mountain, it's conquering ourselves. And again, I think you could have made a motion that would have given us the idea of the mountains there, and then we need to conquer ourselves. So I just thought that there was some parts in there where you could have used gestures that would have added impact to the speech that you gave. So, or your interpretation of the speech. So anyway, those were my comments that I had for you, and I'll open it up to the audience. Chris.
Stacey, this is an excellent choice for you. I have a feeling, as much because I felt like you, I know you're from the Boston area, family is, and I know Maria Shriver is from that area. I felt like you somehow really related, and that showed by your, you know, if we give a speech and we don't really feel it, it just doesn't come out the same way. We could tell not only that you prepared, but that this was something you owned, that you enheartened. And so because of that, it made more for us. I was very pleased with your volume and that you were able to keep it going. This is a long presentation. There were one or two tiny stumbles. Nothing fazed you. You just moved it along very much the way I'm sure Ms. Shriver had to have done. I'm sure there were times when she had to have stumbled over her words. I thought that was well done. I agree with the gestures, although I think I would have slapped my hiney when it was work your butt off, but who knows? I have no idea what she did. So I thought it was well done, and we could tell that it was something you really bought into.
Yeah. Rod?
I thought it was a great speech, the Toastmaster and everything. I thought the thing, your pacing, you were going through it very fast. Like the part that was mentioned, I worked my butt off. You said, "And how did I do it?" And it was like 1/10 of a second pause, and then you said, "I worked my butt off." I think you needed to put it. Now, sometimes I did the same thing when I did mine. you want to fit it into the time constraint, and then you rush, and it kind of loses the impact when you do that. But otherwise, I've enjoyed it.
Dana?
Yeah, first off, I think you had a lot of confidence getting up there. You were prepared, and you knew this. The other thing is the title was Power of the Pause, and you didn't pause often. So you were going along, and I'm going, oh, she should have paused. And maybe Maria didn't. I don't know if you actually listened to the speech many times, but there were several places, that really, all throughout, you could have really just that second or two to make us think. Yeah, and I think you did a fabulous job.
Paula?
I thought I really appreciated how confident you were, and your cadence was really right spot on, especially at the beginning where you were first introducing it. It was, you really sucked us all in, and you said it with great conviction, like Chris said. I think you really identify with Maria Shriver. And I want to know if Words with Friends was really in that speech.
Yes, it is, and she actually referenced her son Patrick, so I took Patrick.
Oh. I'm an addict. Okay, thank you.
Yes. That's great.
Mohan?
Yeah, it was a very good speech that came out of your heart. There was one place, whether I'm not sure that it is in the speech or not. You said, "Excuse me," and went on. And that appeared as though it was in the speech, which was excellent.
Yeah, you were saying communication or communication in your community.
Yeah,
and
flipped it.
Something like that, and you went, excuse me, and
You went on.
Yeah.
So it felt like as though it was in the original speech.
Right.
So which was excellent.
And one comment I will make, having spent some time in the Boston area, those people speak faster than fast back there, and it's hard to keep up. So I just felt that went very much like what went on from a Bostonian. But again, I think you've heard maybe a couple of more gestures, and then put some pauses in there, and all of those would add impact as you did that interpretive speech. So excellent job. Thanks, Stacey.
Thank you, John.